This is the fastest pitch Jacob deGrom has thrown in 2025, and this is the fastest pitch he threw in 2021. Now, it's not solely the 2 miles per hour difference that's significant here. It's this. In 128 and 2/3 innings pitched, deGrom has thrown only 5 pitches at 100 miles per hour, and that plus is doing a lot of heavy lifting. So how many 100 plus miles per hour pitches did deGrom toss in 2021? Well, there is a 5 in there. $185 pitches across only 92 innings, which accounts for 15.1% of his total pitches in 2021. 2021 deGrom and 2022 Hunter Green are the only StatCast-era starting pitchers whose 100 miles per hour offerings accounted for at least 10% of their total pitches thrown. Perhaps the most peculiar aspect of all this is how deGrom didn't display this level of velocity remotely consistently until 2020. Even then, the total of 33 accounted for only 2.9% of his total pitches, and despite how successful deGrom was during this period, it wasn't enough.
David Wright told me a year ago when he said Jacob deGrom doesn't just want to beat you, he wants to embarrass you.
Driven by his innate desire to embarrass hitters, deGrom went all in on max effort velocity, resulting in a historic, mind-boggling peak in 2021. But this otherworldly dominance was built upon an unsustainable style of pitching. And as he seeks to maximize his final few years on the mound, it's something we'll never see again from Jacob deGrom. I have to look at it like, hey, I can pitch at that velocity from 2018. It's less stress on your body. You get out there and you're throwing pitches at 100 miles an hour for however many pitches it is. It's a lot of stress. In other words, Jacob deGrom's prime is over. But he's still terrifying.
Well, you get excited on days where Jacob deGrom is the starting pitcher, and that's why right there, a ton of swing and miss tonight.
Every 5th day carrying the mantle as the greatest pitcher in the game. His dominating presence and electrifying stuff have made his starts unforgettable spectacles.
To illustrate the similarities and differences between deGrom's 2021 and 2025 campaigns, I'll be using sections of his 2 best starts from each respective season in terms of game score, a method of measuring a starting pitcher's performance as a figure between 0 and 100, unless you're 2015 Max Scherzer. First, let's head back to April 23rd, 2021. Entering this game, deGrom had joined 2020 Shane Bieber as the only pitcher since 1901 to begin a season with at least 35 strikeouts and less than 3 walks in the first 3 starts of a season. In fact, through 20 innings pitched, deGrom had allowed only 1 earned run. And well, the first at-bat offers a clear reason why.
His first pitch of the night is swung and fouled back of the season. And another fastball.
Missed the game. He's back in center field.
3 fastballs in a row, and Stevenson is caught looking at 101.
3 straight pitches hovering at 100 miles per hour. Andrew Stevenson had no chance, and Josh Harrison didn't fare much better, as along with a barrage of 100 miles per hour fastballs he could barely foul off, deGrom threw a near 94 miles per hour slider, which Harrison didn't swing at, but the following pitch was just too enticing. Through the end of the 2nd inning, deGrom's lethal 2-pitch duo offered no mercy to his opponents, tallying 4 strikeouts and allowing 1 hit as a sign of mortality. However, through much of 2021, deGrom was anything but mortal. Unsurprisingly, deGrom led all starting pitchers in 4-seam fastball and slider velocity. This season, these respective figures are a couple ticks lower, but the effects have been minimal. Let's take a look at deGrom's start on June 7th, 2025, his best outing of 2025 so far. Coincidentally, his opponent was once again the Washington Nationals, but he was facing a vastly different lineup, notably a majority left-handed lineup. Still, utilizing high 90s fastballs and high 80s to low 90s sliders, he tossed 3 strikeouts and allowed only 2 runners to reach base in the first 2 innings, 1 single and 1 hit by pitch. A rare display of wildness by deGrom, as he's one of only 6 pitchers since 2021 to concede only 4 or less hit by pitches in at least 300 innings pitched. Even the very best are prone to a momentary loss of command. But that doesn't come often for deGrom. Pitch modeling stats such as Stuff Plus and Location Plus seek to determine a pitcher's effectiveness through analysis of physical pitch characteristics and location evaluation, resulting in a league-adjusted figure where, like OPS Plus and ERA Plus, 100 is league average. Oftentimes, pitchers will possess an above-average or elite number in one of these categories, but a mediocre number in the other. For example, Garrett Crochet has a 114 Stuff Plus, a top 3-figure league-wide, but a 97 Location Plus. On the flip side, Nick Pivetta has a 112 Location Plus, but a 99 Stuff Plus. Then there's the elite few who are above average to elite in both categories. Tarek Skubal, Paul Skeens, Zach Wheeler, Logan Webb, and of course, Jacob deGrom, who currently touts a 110 Stuff Plus and 107 Location Plus. Even following Tommy John surgery, deGrom remains amongst the elite class of pitchers. But in 2021, he was in a class of his own.
14 strikeouts for deGrom. That matches his career high. 4th time he's done it.
Hitters shouldn't swing against Jacob deGrom. Sounds like the premise for a John Boyce video. In actuality, it was a legitimate thought experiment with the goal of neutralizing the unprecedented dominance of 2021 Jacob deGrom. Alongside an inhuman strikeout and walk rate combo, he produced a 123 Stuff Plus and 110 Location Plus. Among pitchers with at least 90 innings in a season, only Corbin Burns, Shohei Ohtani, Hunter Green, and Spencer Strider have produced a 120 Stuff Plus, but deGrom sits alone with a triple-digit Location Plus. As Fangraphs' Ben Clemens once described it, that's the key craziness of deGrom's success. He's a control artist who just so happens to throw 100 miles per hour. Overall, this has been an incredibly nerdy, convoluted way to illustrate not only the disparities between deGrom's 2021 and 2025 campaigns, but also emphasize how currently prioritizing long-term health post-Tommy John surgery hasn't affected his status as an elite pitcher. How's he done this? In part by utilizing 2 pitches that laid mostly dormant in his repertoire simply because he didn't need them.
When he's not throwing 99 anymore, that Jake will start throwing his curveball more, and that it'll be a really effective pitch for him.
I agree. That curveball is an elite curveball in the league. It's just his other pitches are so otherworldly, he doesn't need it at this point.
Even back in 2021, deGrom's secondary pitches were established as sporadically used weapons, but their effectiveness was unquestioned, as despite throwing only 7 changeups through the entirety of this 2021 start, he induced 5 whiffs, including 4 strikeouts. And yet, deGrom only used his changeup 8.9% of the time, simply because his fastball and slider combo were better. However, this came at a price. A 2016 study published in the Journal of Shoulder and Elbow Surgery found that a 48% fastball usage rate served as a significant threshold for eventually requiring UCL reconstruction. deGrom has surpassed this 48% threshold 3 times: 2019, 2021, and 2023, the year he underwent his second career Tommy John surgery. Today, at age 37, there's been a noticeable redistribution within his repertoire. In particular, an 11% decrease in 4-seam fastball usage to below the 48% threshold. Most notably, his slider has received the most significant significant uptick, as at 38.5%, he currently has the league's third highest slider rate among qualified pitchers. In addition to this reallocation, compared to 2021, he's throwing pitches in the zone more than ever. And while he's induced less chase swings and whiffs, he's remained successful because of an elite stuff and command combo that's boosted by consistently repeatable mechanics. Mechanics that he's slightly altered in 2025. Check out these windups side to side. Notice anything different? Well, it's subtle, but this year he's throwing his pitches at a lower, more horizontal arm angle at an average of 31 degrees compared to 36 degrees in 2021. An adjustment that seems minute, but still a deliberate change after noticing a slightly increased level of soreness as his arm angle climbs vertically. While deGrom has stated this lower arm angle sometimes results in some unintended additional horizontal movement, his consistent mechanics and elite command help mitigate against this, and because of how well these pitches tunnel together, he still solely relies on his four-seamer and slider against right-handed batters. And it works. Then there's days like his June 7th start against the Nationals, where he faced a majority left-handed lineup. In these starts, especially compared to 2021, he's much more likely to incorporate his changeup and curveball, even if it's just to steal an early count strike. And it works. Ultimately, in this start, deGrom pitched 7 shutout innings, allowing only 2 hits, hitting 1 batter, walking none, and striking out 8, resulting in a game score of 81 on a scale of 0 to 100. Among the 240 starts deGrom has thrown in his big league career, this game score is tied with 4 other performances for the title of deGrom's 10th best start. Overall, a great day in the big leagues. But in the grand scheme of deGrom's career, it's still a performance that lies in the shadows of his ultimate peak. A 15 strikeout complete game shutout, resulting in a game score of 98, a feat accomplished only 29 times since 2000. Not just that, this was deGrom's 3rd straight game with at least 14 strikeouts, becoming the first pitcher with at least 50 strikeouts in the first 4 starts of a season. This is what I mean when I say deGrom's prime is over. Think of it like this. deGrom's 2025 start was a top 15 start of his career. deGrom's 2021 start was a top 30 start of the 21st century. Unfortunately, his 2021 peak was simply unsustainable. Since 1901, 2021 deGrom is the only pitcher with at least 140 strikeouts, less than 15 walks, and less than a 1.50 ERA in the first 15 starts to a season. The problem was these 15 starts were scattered through the entire year. Injuries plagued deGrom during this span, and as funny as it is to see him completely overmatch minor league batters during rehab starts, when Jacob deGrom isn't on an MLB mound, the game is not at its fullest potential.
A 2-hit shutout, 15 strikeouts, an unforgettable performance for the master of his craft.
Excuse me, can we follow that to scan the Thank you.
This is Jacob deGrom being filmed by me. Having never watched him in person and in anticipation of making this video, I decided to attend his July 7th start against the Angels. Oftentimes, greatness can be taken for granted. There's no guaranteed forecast or timeline for a player's prime. Instead, you won't be certain of a player's peak until it's in the past. I attended this game knowing I was watching a different version of Jacob deGrom, but in the back of my mind, I was still hoping for a resurgence of his peak. Instead, reality set in as deGrom turned in a subpar outing. But simultaneously, deGrom's time in the spotlight is far from over. Since the start of the integration era in 1947, 2004 Randy Johnson, 2022 Justin Verlander, and 2025 Jacob deGrom are the only 37-plus-year-old starting pitchers to produce a 1.30 ERA plus and WHIP below 1. As written by Fangraphs' Ben Clemens, this version of deGrom might not throw as hard, but it might not matter. By breaking out 2 rarely used pitches in an effort to sustain both his health and his production, deGrom seems to have found yet another level of dominance. The reality is Jacob deGrom's prime is over, but what he's doing right now is still worthy of your attention. So, if there's one thing I want you to take away, be appreciative of greatness when it's in front of you, because you won't know it's gone until it's too late.